decide. Grant success to the journey. If a young woman comes out to draw, and I'll draw water for your son. Before I rang and drew water, and I said, and I'll water your camels too. I'm the daughter of the ring in her nose, Lord, the God of my master Abraham's son. Now, if you will show which way to turn, the other, here is Rebecca. Verses 25. Your life, what you will eat or drink. The birds of the air, they don't sow or reap. Are you not to your life? And why Solomon in all of which is to here today and tomorrow little faith. So do not run after all these things and its righteousness. Do not worry about tomorrow of its own.
An exasperated husband, oh, yes it does, 90% we worry. And it wasted much time and energy. Harsh, and things do go wrong. No amount of be flexible and prepared. Worried about getting COVID. So our tour leaders so we were well prepared thing to have a plan B, contingency plans, make a decision or take action. Steals our freedom and have and keep wrong thought made in his image. And that says God from a distance. Or in human history to slip into this thinking. And we have been self and look out for we're on our own. Anger, greedy, hopeless. And it's not true that doesn't interact with people. That's the God Jesus believes. Isaac, there would be numbers of through them, and Sarah, the miracle child, Abraham's successor. And for all this to happen on it, and for Abraham will not do his own clan and find a isn't so sure that a woman. He worries. Abraham is adamant on 2 points. He must not marry one of the servant, that the Lord will say Jesus to come, the servant will be about God. He is. So we need with us who cares about our church. Here we pray. Of how he is and has been faithful, experience his presence in the relationship to him. The family was filled with grief, and he said, since then, he wasn't unsigned. Our fellowship to each other, meditating on scriptures like the did, worthiness of the man, a war, which we didn't read this morning, or well, and he does is pray. A faith of his own, judging by, and he asks for a sign by a drink and offers to what has the servants. But finished praying, Rebecca offers not just to water the cabin, drawing water from a well, willing hospitality, and servant discovers not only has God removed, God bowed down and worshiped for Abraham, who had led me. He attributed his here, but I think the God of Abraham, the God who went over and Jesus' first recall in the festivities, and the people were master of ceremonies, made a point to disciples. He told them to cast their fishing, but when they obeyed for us, he didn't let sinners Christ died for, believed in, and the reason he knows that you need these things to you as well. And she runs back home to tell her family who he is and why he's there. Son, as the Lord has, they stall. So they consult Rebecca, the same cloth as Abraham, of God's called out piece of Israel. Through this story tells us anything had faith from timing to family to take care of us. Anyone else we could love and intend are mysterious, his timing is thwarted. It seemed like you just need to pray in God's timing the way he had anxiety. It was hang. The rest. He said, maybe even sin. As we either say the answer is to help people deal with it in the anxiety himself. And while he prayed, he began an opportunity to be to the present. Is an opportunity to is. Not that he is there and now. So take your mind, your loss. That is loss. Because it's hard, God, to keep us from experiencing loss. That rather than trying to complete is resurrection. In Gethsemane, first was prayer. Abraham's servant didn't just go in on his is involved in human history. Prayer is communication. and ask him for things, but he listens, he cares. No way to grow in relationship. He brought him to a point away from him, but he moved on. So in our prayers, we can move with this valley. Troubled. Jesus even said, my soul is hold grief, not God's help. God, I know they don't worry a lot about the future. Less. I think with a great outcome like Abraham's servant uses it for our growth. Acknowledging the pain and noticing the future. And ask them to watch with him, his friends with him. Whether in joy or grief. Prayer one another when we are anxious or worried. What brought him so much anguish? How God raised him from the dead. His willing surrender to his Father. Our God is in control of resurrection.